Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our online general studies lesson, Unit 1, The Geography of China, Part 1. Again, there are certain reminders before we begin the lesson. I want all students to have the student handbook ready this time. Keep your GS handbook. If you don't have, you can have your notebook ready. And textbook, workbook is optional, as again, many students may not have it with them. But if you have them, it's excellent. You can refer to those pages. Have your stationery pencil eraser ready with you, and again maintain a good distance from your PC and use headphones if you cannot hear clearly. Okay, so I give you 1 minute to get everything with you, besides you, so that we can have the lesson running smoothly.
Why study geography? You must be wondering. What's the use in studying Earth's landscapes, people, places, and environment? Well, geography helps us understand our planet Earth. Even though people speak different languages, have different culture, we are all in different parts of the world. We are connected at the core. We have similar values and belief system. Above all, we all share the same planet, Earth, as our home. The knowledge of geography helps us become better individuals, environmentally sensitive, and responsible citizens. Before we start studying about the geography of China, we should know what is geography. Does anyone know what is the study of geography consists of? Well, let me tell you. Geography informs us about our planet and the world we live in. We learn about different places, the continents and countries, as well as the oceans, the rivers, what is erosion, weathering, the climate changes, and the mountains on our planet.
Let's talk about what landforms and bodies of water are. Like here, you see on this picture, there are different landforms and bodies of water. Say, for example, ocean, that's a water body. Island, we all know what island is. It's a piece of land surrounded by water on all its sides. Mountain, most of us, we've seen a mountain, at least in the picture. Volcano, we are all familiar with what volcanoes are and what they can do. Okay, and recently there was one active volcano in the Philippines. Desert, canyon, hill, river, lake. These are the water bodies. Valley, valley is a low land between two mountains. Plain, plain is a flat land where the vegetation doesn't grow to a very big height. It's very, very flat. It doesn't have tall trees or any. Here, the grass grows very, very, very close to the ground. That's a plain, okay? Now, not all countries and all places have all landforms. Let's take, for example, the place where we live, Hong Kong. How many landforms do we have in Hong Kong? Think about it. Hong Kong is an island, so yeah, island, we have one landform. What else? Do we have a volcano in Hong Kong? hmm We don't have that. Do we have a canyon in Hong Kong? No, we don't have canyons in Hong Kong. Do we have hills? We have many hills, right? Hong Kong is surrounded by hills. We do have we do have a water body. We have a reservoir, Taitam Reservoir in Hong Kong. Yeah, we have our seas. So, not all places can have all landforms.
Look at this big map in front of you. It says it's a part of Asia map. Here you can see Greater China region, which is surrounded by different countries on all its sides, and one side you have the great big Pacific Ocean. Now, if you see closely on the map, you can see certain blue lines inside the Greater China region. So, what are these blue lines? Have you ever wondered? Certain times you can also see like brown, like triangle peaks and blue water bodies. So, have you ever wondered what are these symbols on the map? Well, if you remember, it's called the language of the map. And that's something we learned in our last lesson. What is the language of the map? Say, for example, here, if you see on the top right hand corner, you see the north arrow symbol, which is the letter N, and it's got the pointy arrow. Well, all of you should know that it shows the direction on the map. It shows where the north is, south, east, west, north, south, northwest, and so forth. So that gives us the direction. Every map must have this north arrow symbol. Besides north arrow symbol, the map also has certain other key features, such as the key on the bottom. If you see, it's got certain symbols and the words. Each symbol, say for example, the blue line that I was talking about represents a river on the map. That means there are certain major rivers in China, which are like highlighted with the blue lines. And the red lines that you see between different regions, between Mongolia and China, between Russia and Mongolia, between different countries, you see the red highlight. That means these are the boundaries between different countries, different nations. And the oceans are highlighted blue. So besides these features, there are also many other landform which needs to be highlighted on the map so that we know what's where on the map. And also at the bottom, if you see, there's a ruler with numbers, and that's the scale of the map, which gives us the distance. So here in this lesson, using our knowledge, what we learned in the last lesson about the 8 cardinal directions and the language of the map, we'll find out what is the geographical location of different places in regards with China. Refer to the Geography of China map in your textbook and write down the missing parts in the blank 1, 2, 3. Now you will have to refer to the north arrow symbol to find the directions of certain countries and places around China, next to China. Say for example, number 1. Now China is in the which part of Asia? Like, is it in the northern part of Asia, the top part, or is it in the southern or eastern part towards the side of the Asia, or is it in the center of Asia, and it faces which sea in the east? That should be pretty straightforward. Now Vietnam and Myanmar are in the, use the north arrow symbol and find out, are they in the west, are they in the east, which part of our country they are. So the north arrow symbol, it's very important when you have to locate the directions of different places on the map.
China is a huge country. Now, look at this world map, which shows you different countries of the world, different continents. Some are very small, some are very huge, and some are like even bigger than certain continents. Now, where does China rank by size in the world? How can we find out what is the size of China as compared to other countries? Which country is the biggest? Which country is the smallest? Now, your job is to go to the following website and take a look at the bird's eye view of China. You'll have to log into this website, find your answer, and you'll have to share your answer in the next lesson. Hello everyone, welcome to our lesson 2 of Unit 1, the Geography of China, Part 1, and today we'll be covering pages 6 to 9. Look at this beautiful map of China. It's all shaded in different colors. You can see shades of brown, you can see a little bit of green here, you can see the blue in between, and by this time you should know what the blue stands for and what does the green color stand for. I'm sure you know that. The blue stands for the water bodies and the green stands for vegetation like forests, plants, farming lands. Okay, and what about the brown color? Like, why do they have shades of brown color? You can tell me, Mrs. Desai, brown color is for maybe mountains or rocks. Agreed. But then, why do you have to have different shades of brown? Just to make it beautiful? Or is there a meaning behind when we see a map and when we see different shades of the same color? Is there anything behind it? If you look at the map carefully, look at the eastern part of China. Eastern part of China is not as brown as the western part of China, where you have the Tibet and you have these mountainous regions. When you look at the map, you should be thinking why the eastern part of China is so green and why is the western part so brown? It's so mountainous. Is there a reason behind it? As we see, there are many different landforms we can see here. Right, what are the different landforms can we see here on the map? Okay, one I can tell you, the blue color, that means it's a water body. Green color, that means it could be a forest, it could be plant, it could be vegetation. It's agricultural land, it could be brown, it could be mountain, or it could be a hilly region. Let's look at the side map of China relief or a terrain map. Terrain means the surface of land with different landforms. That's called the terrain. Now, if you look at the terrain of China, it has got the sea, the water body, and then this is a bird's eye view. And then it has a plain. Plain, as I told you before, it's a flat piece of land with minimum vegetation. It doesn't have tall trees or it's just grassland. And then it's plateau. Again, this plateau is similar to plain but at a much higher, at a much greater height. And then you have mountains and then you have hills. So this is the side terrain of China. See, as you can see in the picture above, the sea, okay, and then you have Changjiang Plain, then you have Sichuan Basin, Tibetan Plateau is the world's famous plateau, Tibetan Plateau, and then the highest Himalayan range is the mountain range in China, between China and India.
Okay, after looking at the relief map or the terrain map of China, we should be able to do this part by ourselves. Now, a terrain map, it highlights different landforms in a particular region, and the presence of different landforms gives us an idea whether it's a highland, it's a lowland, it's a flat plain, or it's a volcanic region. Is it like a dry land, or is it a water body? So it's very important that besides the north arrow symbol, we have the key and we have different landforms marked in a region. So with the help of the different landforms, with the help of the terrain map, you should be able to just tell. Say for example, let's take number one. The relief of the dash part and dash part of China are higher. Now, what landform could be higher and what landforms could be lower? Right? We can just use your common sense and say which parts could be higher. Things like mountains, hills, canyons, these are the rocky regions. These are much higher than a flat plain, which requires for rice cultivation and for paddy cultivation and things like that. So you should be able to say which part of China has like a drier climate, climate which is very limited in vegetation because not much things grow on higher regions. So all these factors put together, you should be able to say, and using relief map, you should be able to say which are lower regions in China, which are flatter regions, and which are higher regions.
By now, all of you should have a fair idea of what different landforms are and how they are highlighted on a relief map. Okay, so it's time now to play a game. Click on the link below, relief/landform map quiz game, and play the game 5-10 minutes. If you need to stop the video, please stop the video, come back and resume the video again. Hey everyone, let's look at the relief map or terrain map. Here we have this map in front of us and we can tell it shows us the different landforms which are present in this region in China. And you can tell from a relief map, it gives us the height and depth of different landforms in a particular region. If you look at the key in the right hand bottom, you can see it's got different shades and it's got different heights. You can see the 3,000 meters, 2,000 meters, and so on and so forth. So if you look at the brown color, where is the brown color on the map? It's on the western side. Okay, so you can tell these brown colors represent those big mountains, okay, which are as tall as 3,000 and taller than that. So it's a very mountainous region. Now, if you look at the lighter shade, okay, which is nearer to the dark brown color, that is 2,000 meters, that means a little smaller mountains. You come to 200 meters. If you see 200 meters, the color is green, dark green to little light green, and you can say it on the eastern side of China, like the northeast China plain, the North China plain. On the eastern side, it's all very green and shades of green. That means it's a plain, okay, and mostly it's agricultural land or it's very fertile land. So here, this relief map, it shows us the different heights and the depths of the landforms that are present in that region. Now, if you see on the eastern side, there are two biggest islands which China has, and they are Taiwan and Hainan, which are circle. These are the two largest islands present in the region. Now, look at the map closely, and you can see three rivers, three blue lines going, one from the north, Huanghe, central, Shangsheng, and at the bottom, it is the Xuxian. Okay, all these three are the main rivers in China. And if you observe carefully, the rivers, they have their mouth. That means they're flowing into East China Sea. Right? So now my question is, why do rivers go into East China Sea? They fall into the ocean on the eastern side and they don't go towards the western side. And why do the three main rivers of China flow into the sea? Well, you need to think about that, okay? Use a relief map to find out, look at it carefully, all the three rivers, where are they originating, why are they flowing into the sea? Think about it, okay? Think about the heights of different parts of China. It's a hint. Let's recap what we learned in the last two lessons. Last two lessons we learned certain terms. We learned about landforms. What are landforms? What are the different types of landforms? And how are certain landforms unique to a certain country, space, or region? And the different types of landforms are, I'm sure you all know that, but they are like, say, ocean. It could be volcano, mountain, hill, plateau, what else? Desert, valley, and many, many more. We also learned about bodies of water. What are different bodies of water? Ocean, rivers, lake, reservoir. Anything that contains water are the bodies of water. We also learned about like climate, did we? Yeah. Climate is a very important element in terms of what we are learning now, the way landforms are created, because one of the major factor is climate. The reason why landforms are created the way they are created. Say, for example, in a dry desert, the soil is very arid. There's no water, there's no vegetation. Why? One of the main reasons is because of the climate condition in that place. There is not much rainfall. The climate is very extreme. It's extremely hot in the morning, daytime, and it's extreme cold at night time. So it's got very fluctuating temperatures, and the landforms are created because of the climate conditions in that region. So climate is a major factor in the way landforms are created. And natural resources, like different natural resources, what are the different natural resources that are present in the landforms? Water, air, wood, sunlight. These are different natural resources. And we also learnt about terms like a relief map, a terrain. What is a relief? What is a terrain? Terrain is like, say, it's different landforms present on the surface of the earth, right? There are some straight landforms like plain or plateau, which are very, like which are straight, which are plain, okay, which are not hilly or rocky. Like hills are little elevated, mountains are huge rocky structures, and valley is a deep, like a lowland between two huge mountains, right? So these are the different terrains which are present in the landform. By now, all of you should know what landforms are, what are the different types of landforms, and landforms are unique for a certain region or place. Now here in this picture, we'll look at different landforms in China. As you can see in the picture, there are different landforms. We have the mountainous region, that's the Himalayan range, which is at the height of 6,000 meters or 8,000 meters, which are the tallest landforms present. Below that, we have the Tibetan Plateau. Again, plateau is a flat plain land, okay, and which is the average height is 4,000 to 5,000 meters. Below that, you have the Sichuan Basin, which is at the height of 1,000 to 2,000 meters. Then we have Changjiang Plain and North China Plain. Again, plain means a flat land, which doesn't change much in height, and plains are one of the major landforms present on the earth. Here, the average height is about 500 to 1,000 meters. Let's look at other landforms in China. Here in this slide, we'll talk about three main rivers in China. Look at these pictures. The first one you see is Huanghe. It's in the northern part of China, and it says it's one of the first region where Chinese people lived in the past. Now, next, go down. It's the Shangxiang, which is in the central part of China, and the last is the lowest plain is Zhujiang, which is in the southern part of China. Look at this map. It shows us the crops produced in different regions in China. As you can see from the map, at least like more than 90-95% of the crop is produced in the eastern region of China. Whereas the western region, if you see, like there's only cotton and it's not much being grown there. By now, you should be able to answer that because as we know from the relief map that we looked earlier, the western part of China is very hilly, mountainous, it's a plateau region, whereas compared to the eastern part, which is plain, and also there are three major rivers flowing through the eastern part. What are the three major rivers? Huanghe, Shangjiang, and Zhujiang. These are the three rivers. And to do agriculture, okay, to produce crops, you need to have a lot of water and a lot of plain land, and that's the reason that the eastern region is most suitable for farming. As you can see from the map, that wheat is mainly cultivated in the northern part of China, whereas paddy rice is mainly grown in the southern regions. Now, if I ask you, okay, where can we have abundant supply of seafood? What's your answer? Of course, it's going to be near to the coastal region, okay, in the eastern part near the sea. all these three different pictures, three different activities, you should be able to tell what these different activities are. And these are some major industries in China and even in many like parts of the world. Whereas one, you grow something, one is like fishing, I'll tell you that. And besides naming these activities, you should be able to tell as well that which part of China, say for example, in the northern region, where is fishing done in? Is it done in the northern region or is it in western region, eastern region? You should be able to tell the direction, okay, the part of China where these activities are primarily carried out. Agriculture, livestock farming, fishery are the main agricultural activities in certain parts of China. Say, for example, look at pictures 1 and 2, wheat and paddy rice. These are agriculture products, and you need farmland, a plain land with a lot of water if you want to grow paddy rice or wheat. So that's why it's more suited towards the northern region, okay, towards the eastern region, which has got a lot of water, the three rivers, and in the northern part, they cultivate wheat, and in the southern part, paddy rice is grown. Look at picture 3. It says the northwest plateaus are mainly for livestock farming. Now, livestock farming is like raising cattle, sheep, and it's mostly done in higher region, okay, where there is low temperatures, and the weather is suitable for raising livestock farming. Here, the sheep, they have a lot of wool around their body to cover them, to protect them from the cold weather, and they make use of the wool for making, like, many things.